welcome to the new episode of the B2B um, video ads roast. And today I have Alex Virden with me from Vector. Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you today.
Thank you so much, Alex. For a longest time, because of your LinkedIn profile picture, I've always thought you are that Vector character, the one which looks like a ghost. And now I know how you look really.
Everybody has a ghost at Vector, so my personality has a banjo, which I play. It's a fun little thing that we do.
Ah, great, Alex. Maybe you can start with your quick intro. What do you do at Vector? Of course, I've written product marketing at Vector, but what do you really do? And how did you land into product marketing?
Absolutely. So at Vector, no 2 days are the same. We're a scrappy startup and we're in B2B SaaS. So we're selling to marketers. We're trying to, get product market fit, all the fun things you want to do in product marketing. So I work on pricing, packaging, content with our demand gen lead, with our content lead, with our founder. And it's wonderful. I always say product marketing is the best discipline within marketing. And I got into product marketing by starting actually in demand gen. So running ads, webinars, events, all of the technical stuff. And one day realized what I really loved was being creative, strategic, and getting to work on these like big, meaty projects like, hey, we might need to pivot in the market, or we might need to build this feature, or we're looking to raise another round. What should we be doing now? So about 7, 8, maybe years ago now, I made the transition from demand gen into product marketing and haven't looked back since.
Nice, nice. Quick intro about me. You guys know me. I'm Rish. I'm with ContentBeta. We are a creative as a service for B2B SaaS. We help marketing teams get on-demand creative team to help them run more experiments, more ad angles, more hooks, more formats and variations. But more about Alex and less about ContentBeta. Alex, so the way we are trying to structure the session is first we can start on to why B2B ads um, when are always associated with boring ads, and I would probably more generalize why B2B boring. I know Vector is not, but most B2B stuff is. Um, and then
Yeah.
some teardowns of real ads. I know it's a roast concept, but it's not like a fun roast. It's more education side. So we want to learn that, hey, what would you change instead of we are not against any brand or any product or any concept.
Of
It's just
course.
that what would we change? And then we do a rapid fire couple of questions based on trendy marketing topics. What do you think?
Cool. Love it. Let's dive in.
Great. Let's start with B2B. Is B2B really boring? And how has Vector stayed away from that?
Yeah. So I think you get into the boring trap when you give artificial rules and constraints around your brand and your product. Like we still want to have a very clear message about what your product does, who your product's for, how it fits into a workflow or your core persona's day-to-day activities. But we're at the end of the day, we're in, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like we're used to being entertained and we're used to getting attention grabbing headlines and creative kind of up front. So that's kind of the mode two Vector is taking, is where we want to stay away from boring, but connect the dots. So we add in creativity using GIFs, memes, the ghost, and having the ghost kind of do some of the product angles while still sharing what it is Vector does, who we're for, who we're not for, and where we fit into a marketer's workflow. So I think B2B can be boring, but we're seeing brands pushing the limit of what is entertaining and educational, which is really cool to see. And you're seeing a lot of that, I think, with marketing companies and startups that are trying to make some noise, trying to get wedges into maybe some more legacy brands that are more traditional in their style of comms.
I like how you're associating like opposite of boring is entertaining, literally, and I think I can see this across whatever marketing assets you have, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on paid media. Um, Interesting. Let's start with the ad creators and see what we can help
Yeah.
them. Um, so this one is a video. We'll watch the video.
Go beyond the open web. Access premium business data in natural conversation, right where you already work. Get straight to the decision makers. Your chat, your prospects, your move. This is Vibe Prospecting, professional prospecting for everyone. Try it free today in your favorite chat.
Alice, I'll let you take the first shot.
Me?
Yeah. I'll let you take the first
Yeah.
shot.
Okay, perfect. So I think there's a couple things working, and I think there's some areas of improvement. I love showcasing, I love when brands showcase the product in a way that's a storyline. So it's not just product screenshot. This is really telling a story of how you'd maybe do a workflow within Vibe Prospecting. I think some of the things that are maybe generic are the copy and the voiceover is giving we're just a prospecting tool that integrates with AI and Claude. It's not really telling me what I can expect or like how this is going to make my life easier. It's more just telling me what it is, but not, I don't feel compelled to make a next step. And I think that's where sometimes some of these really product forward adverts can fall short as what am I supposed to do next with this? Also, the last line, prospecting for everyone, it's kind of lazy copy in my opinion because you're not targeting everybody. This is for a specific user. This is for a specific team within a an organization. So
I mean, more than the ad, I'm against the concept of vibe prospecting because sales folks are anyways used to use tools like Polo for lead gen or Lucia. Um, and these are not complicated tools that just like how you have vibe coding. Like, coding is complicated for non-coders.
mhm.
So conceptually, I'm a bit away. But another way I would say it's pretty nicely produced, right? And
Yeah,
sometimes I have
for
a
sure.
problem with things which are nicely produced. Although I run a creative service company, and sometimes I tell my customer that hey, you need ugly ads. You don't always need nice ads.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts versus on ugly versus like really well produced ads?
I think there's a time and the place depending on where you are in the funnel and who you're trying to court of how well it needs to be produced. I think when we look at our individual contributors who are in the platform, they want to see how it works. What's the system look like? They're not maybe as compelled if it's a highly curated or um, brand awareness type of play. They just want to get in and kind of get the facts, right? And I think
Mm.
that's maybe where sometimes the more uglier um, ads work. But CMOs, VPs sometimes want that more brand experience. They want to feel like your product might be the best, and it's doing something that's signaling to other marketers, "Hey, I'm using this thing, and it's really cool, and it's getting some attention in the market. Like, maybe you should check it out." Like, kind of peer to peer, and that's where we find the highly produced stuff works really well is at that brand awareness level.
Let's go to the next one. This one is Storylane. I love the brand. Um, what do you think about this?
I definitely think it's one of those, pattern disruptors where maybe you're scrolling and this comes up and you take a second to say, wait, what is this? It's funny. It's kind of clever in the way a lot of MarTech solutions like to be when it comes to advertising. Knowing what Storylane does, it I don't know. The copy falls a little flat. Maybe there could be a next step or something coming out after a certain point of the swirl spinning to
Mhm.
just kind of connect the dots. But overall, it is a pattern disruptor, which I think is interesting.
Mm. Yeah, even I felt that I think curiosity is created, but it's not resolved. I mean, of course, and if I don't know what Storyline does, I'm clueless. Probably, maybe that's what they wanted to take people take action. But I
Yeah.
feel if they would have solved a bit, teased a bit more about the curiosity they are creating, probably would have been a better job.
Yeah, it's interesting when brands go for this play that's like making an assumption someone will be so curious that they'll visit a website or click a link. I found you have to connect more dots than you think when it comes to helping people along and understand a product or being interested in a product. But I think this is creative for sure.
This one is the next one, the number one investment platform in the UK.
Hmm. Yeah, number one, uh, these kind of stats are uh, when I challenge teams to say, so what? Like, what's the output of that? Anybody can say they're number one. So I personally, this is a kind of like a turnoff kind of copy for me. I also am not sure based on the graph and the value. It's like features without context. So there's a lot going on in this ad, but it's not unified for me.
Mm. I think I felt the same. It's claim heavy, proof light. Um, and in general, I
Hmm.
think finance as a category, most people are skeptical, right? I mean, even if you give proof, and this number one without context is like really like trust sucking. And another thing which I felt that, I mean, maybe it's just part of the campaign from the train, but they don't have a brand name mentioned anywhere on this billboard kind of ad. And if somebody is not
Hmm.
familiar with this number one status or so, it's like it gives me a strong disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually, as you were saying that, was reading through and just being like, is there a logo anywhere? Is there anything? You get immediate blinders to something like this. I think you read it and then you just kind of move on or look at the train stops below it.
Next one is again a video ad. Um, see
Okay.
this one.
Behold the worthy souls who seek the post of accountant.
Huzzah! And how many dwell within our legal borders?
One, my liege.
A beast?
With thumbs, my lord.
I think it's cleverly made. Um, like a story, like a like an interesting story that will grab an attention. And with this AI, you could do a hell lot more these days. What are
Hmm.
your thoughts?
I think it's interesting. Employee Without Borders leads me to believe it's going to go to some sort of landing page that connects this storyline, which I really like when ads extend into something else or like a, either a landing page piece of content. I think with these kind of brand awareness ads, you have to carry the through line to somewhere to be effective. But for a brand, for something that's kind of funny, and that I think maybe the persona of HR might get a chuckle out of with the raccoon, it works for a brand play, I think.
Mm. Um, I think when you said something should come after this, are you saying like a value prop? For example, like pay hire in 50 countries without any setup time or so?
Yeah. Yeah, something I think you can be clever, but I think you also have to turn it into how does this relate back
Mm,
to our brand or a concept that at least I can mentally remember. For example, vector with the ghosts, we're de-anonymizing your web traffic, so we're removing ghosts from who's coming to your site. That way,
mm,
we can carry that kind of stuff all the way through.
mm. Yeah, I think I would say it's clear. I mean, they're showing clearly that which category they are in, like deal, remote, and oyster.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they're like just like any other global employment kind of platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Move to the next one. Um, I don't know this brand, but yeah, it says your time is valuable, spend it wisely.
Yeah. For me, this goes to problem versus like clarity, and ultimately this comes across very vague. I'm not sure what is what does Grassfield do for me so I can spend my time wisely? What do they mean by spending my time wisely? Um, it's very vague in terms of the problem it solves or the value that I'm getting.
I just checked while you were speaking, so it's an AI analyst for finance. Even if they're targeting AI analysts, finance analysts, it's still too vague. I mean, when it's a generic statement, your time is valuable, spirit wisely, and it's applicable to anybody in the world. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those copy points too, where now that I know that it's targeting finance, it's like valuable, spend it. They're kind of financial sort of terms, but they're
cliches.
not
Mm,
landing in a way that's would resonate, I think, as to next step. Also, the design feels a little bit like stock image, if you will.
mm.
So I think it could work harder, just to work harder on the image and the so what of the copy.
Let's move on to the next one. This one is by RevGate. 2026 will be brutal for AI startups if they ignore pricing. Yeah, I think pricing is everybody who cares about. And I think you've looked at pricing before too, right? You told me you helped Vector with crystallizing the pricing plan. What do you think about this ad?
I think it's a statement, but it's not a brand statement to me. Yes, it's like yes, of course. Any company that ignores their pricing, it's going to be brutal because you might be missing out on pricing. You might be causing spikes in churn. It lacks specificity. That would make me want to take a next step, I think. And if they're targeting AI startups, it's not specific to AI startups. Why shouldn't they? Why will it be brutal? What happens if they ignore pricing? Just a little vague and kind of long, in my opinion.
So if you're saying it creates anxiety but doesn't offer a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
there's
think,
definitely a POV. It's just
mm,
not taking the next step.
and I think it also assumes that everybody is worried about AI commoditization. I mean, that's what they're trying to tip off. That, hey, how pricing is, or how are you going to struggle with pricing? And somehow I feel with the word AI in like the marketing messaging, I think it's cliche now. Everybody's saying AI in some way, and everybody is an
Mm-hmm.
AI startup in another way. Um, what do you think about? I mean, you've seen people using AI enhanced and AI powered and AI agentic platform. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? How should somebody use it to their advantage, given that everybody in the world is trying to use that?
I think it it would be helpful to show how it's showing versus telling. I think is super important when it comes to AI and AI in your platform, and not labeling something AI that's maybe not, or maybe a stretch. Like, one small thing is not an AI powered system. So it just clarity on when you're using it. If you don't need to call it AI, maybe think of a better way to describe something. Um, where I've seen AI is kind of like a band aid to a copy problem versus uh, an actual solution that maybe warrants being called AI powered, or like an AI workflow, things like that. It feels very, we're not sure how to describe this, so we're just going to call it AI.
To your statement, I'll get you one more AI. But before that, what's your take on zero-click search has increased ad spends?
Mm,
And I think
yeah,
all of
I,
us are
I
victims of zero-click search in any ways with this new AI overviews and ChatGPTs.
Sure. Yeah. I think the short answer is yes. Zero click search has increased ad spend, but it's where, what, and how for what ads are doing. Ads drive clicks, now they drive presence. And buyers aren't clicking, filling out forms, reading content in the same way they used to. We now have services that, like bots and Claude and everything, can just digest so much content. So our buyers are being more selective, right? And they're
Mm.
researching quietly across channels. They're conferring with their peers. So ads to us, and something we're exploring, is using ads as nurture, not campaigns, not like burst, but just ongoing visibility across, what buyers are doing. So they're they're kind of always present and nurturing in the same way you would set up an email nurture cadence. But for sure, zero click search is increasing ad spend.
Um, is nurturing with ads an expensive proposition? I know it's the cost of the channel. Um,
Sure. You know, the honest answer is it can be. If you're unsure of your ICP, if you're doing account based targeting with no clarity on who is engaging with those ads, and who is in their buyer's journey and where they within that, of course it can raise that. But that's one of the things, not to shout out vector, but contact level advertising, de-anonymization, working to figure out who those specific people are, and saving money on maybe broad spray and pray campaigns.
that's a clever product plug, by the way. Let's go to the next one. So this one is an ad. Sorry. Yeah.
WalkMe. Okay.
This one is slightly dated. Seems like from 1920. But yeah, so this is the ad and it just keeps on going in the loop without the voiceover.
Yeah.
What do you say about this?
I like the stat. I think it creates FUD. And in working with HR professionals previously, there is a lot of anxiety around the impact of HR. So I
Mm.
think that is attention grabbing. A voiceover or a next step into a workflow, or what WalkMe does, or like that product storyline might be helpful here. Right now, depending on where this ad was placed, the movement might grab my attention, but it's a lot of white space. And a little boring.
I think it does a decent job of hooking somebody to, and kind of, I think if you say that, hey, so many projects are getting failed, it at least grabs my attention because I could associate
Yeah.
as a person who's working on HR projects. But it's not a solution. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if WalkMe doesn't exist today, right? Or does it? Did it merge with somebody else?
Let's see. Um, no, it looks like they're a digital
Or is it still
adoption.
there?
They're an
Yeah.
SAP company.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's a much bigger. Okay, this one is again AI. Everybody gets AI except procurement. That's right. If I'm from procurement, I'll take an offense.
Well, it's funny. This is based off of the Oprah meme, which is like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. So if you don't know the reference
Mm,
this visual relies on, you're not gonna. I don't think you'd find it funny. You'd be like, why is a woman screaming that's half in the Matrix and half in real life? So
mm,
it's a bunch of steps to understand this image, which when you only have so much time, I think it falls short on the connecting the
mm,
dots area.
mm.
Yeah.
Go to the next one. Yeah. So this one is by
Perplexity.
Perplexity. It says
Mm-hmm.
ad-free YouTube.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know. Have you tried Comet?
No.
So Comet is Perplexity's browser, like how
Okay.
um, like Claude doesn't have a browser, but Claude has an app. But Perplexity has a
Mm-hmm.
browser through which it's actually blocking ad cookies.
Mm.
And that's why whatever platform you're onto, you're not getting targeted by Google ads or
Mm-hmm.
Meta ads or so. And that's why they claim to say that it's ad-free YouTube. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say the one which is written in like a handwritten one is definitely like a pattern interrupt. But for people
Yeah.
who wouldn't know, I don't know, would you sign up, um, assuming it's like a Comet browser?
I don't know. And I also think that handwritten, with it being Perplexity, almost feels like a mismatch. Um, I don't know, like human intervention and AI, something feels off there for me. But I don't think this is enough for me to click sign up. I think I would keep scrolling on, I guess this is Instagram stories, keep going to the next story. You got to do a lot, I think, on social channels that aren't LinkedIn to grab attention and take that next step. Um, if you're a B2B brand, I think.
Let's look at the next one. Okay, before we go, what's one unfiltered truth about B2B marketing? And you can see the four options.
A is a hot take. um, I like D. I think D is um something because of the way that there's a lot of spray and pray marketing. There's a lot of fantastic ads out there that are just ignored. They're not in the right placement. They're not with their ICP. They're not you know, getting to the right person. But I think D might be how I feel when I look at some of our customer ads and helping them clarify who their buyers are. But I think A is a hot take. Definitely a hot take.
For D, what would be your suggestion? How to not get ignored?
How to not get ignored. I think clarifying who your audience is, where they are, how you should show up for them, and making it entertaining while being educational. I can't stress it enough of a lot of ads are somewhat being clever or relying on maybe pop culture references or relying on some knowledge that they think that their audience has that they might not. So how can you clearly, succinctly say what you want to say to grab someone's attention and then pull them in for surprising, delighting kind of content? And if you're doing brand awareness, connecting what's entertaining back to the product, I think, is so much more important than being clever or cute.
Mm, I think we're about to um, end this, so I'll have one ad left, but
Okay.
I think we'll pass on this time. Um,
Okay.
what's your key take? Just if you would like to end this talk, what's the key take or key advice for the listeners right now?
Yeah, for B2B ads, whether they're static or video, clarifying your audience. As a product marketer, I spend day in and day out focused on the who, what, when, where, and why. And the who is so important these days. It's getting harder and harder to get in front of the eyes of folks. So clarifying that, really understanding them, and building a story that makes sense all the way through the buyer's journey from prospect to customer is how you win with ads. It's how you get people on LinkedIn commenting on your ads or resharing them. It's how you can build brand awareness at scale and super targeted specific ads where everybody knows it's your ad, knows it's your value, and you earn the right basically to be more and more creative.
Mm, My take from this talk is entertain first. I think that's my number one take. That hey, don't focus on conversion and education first. Entertain, do a pattern interrupt, try to get attention, and then educate. And like how Joker says, why so serious?
I love that. I love that. That's great.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex, for taking our time and sharing your insights. If the
Absolutely.
listeners who are watching this or watching this, the recorded version, would want to get in touch with you or learn more about Vector, what's the best way?
Please contact me on LinkedIn. I am there all the time and happy to get DMs and introduce you to the right person at Vector if you're interested.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and have a lovely day.